responsible for R&B classics such as Do Me Baby, Fool's Paradise, and Do You Still Love Me. And today, she's back on top of the R&B charts with her latest release, Footprints of an Angel. She recently took time to sit down with Black Music Archive to discuss her career, voice, and music. This is an explained masterclass with Meli'sa Morgan. Hello, Meli'sa. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm fine.
I'm doing great. So I'll just cut to the chase. You have a new single out that has been quickly climbing up the charts. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Oh my goodness, Footprints of an Angel, yeah. I was asked to do a movie right before the pandemic, and I went in and did the movie. I played the mother of a young lady who has 2 kids, and she was out in the street doing her thing and came back home to us, and when she came home, we found out she had cancer. And I have to sing at my own daughter's funeral. When I finished the scene, I talked to the director and the writer, and I said, you need a theme song for this. And they told me to go home and write it. And then you have Footprints of an Angel.
After over 35 years in music, Meli'sa Morgan is back at #1 on the R&B charts with her new song, Footprints of an Angel. For Meli'sa, it was a long journey back to the top, a journey that begins in Queens, New York. Can you just talk a little about your beginning and how you learned and figured out that you had a voice?
My mom, yeah, in the living room with my sister in Corona, New York, at probably about 8 years old, 7, 8 years old. So my mom took me to, there was an audition for a gospel choir, the Starlets of Corona, which was like 2 blocks away from where we lived. And every Saturday, they said you practice every Saturday, and then on Sunday, you would go to church, and they would go to different churches. And my mother really took me there to get me out of the house on Saturdays. But it turned out to be the best thing for me, because Horne Washington became my mentor and the person who taught me how to sing and deliver a song.
Having always shown a knack for music, it would be at the tender age of 14 that she'd begin her professional singing career in the funk group Business Before Pleasure.
I kept singing. I was doing talent shows in school and just all kind of things, and singing it with the gospel choir, and singing at birthday parties. Anywhere that I could sing, I was singing. And someone told me, they said, oh, there's a group called Business Before Pleasure that's looking for a singer. I was, I was 14. Everybody thought I was 16. I looked older for my age, what I'm saying? What can I say? So I went and I auditioned, and they loved the way I sang.
Her first recording is Prime of Love.
It drives me crazy.
What's very interesting about this is that we get to hear her as a child. An interesting thing about children's voices is that when they're early in their stages of development, they tend to incorporate head voice throughout their entire range. So, in this song, she uses head voice in the lower part of her voice.
You are my man, I'm making plans, please understand, you are my life.
She uses it in the middle.
I hope you see your hold on me, don't set me free from your good love.
And she uses it at the top. So what you're hearing on this record is different variations of a head voice. The clear distinction and development of registers will come as the voice becomes more developed and stronger, and that will happen as Meli'sa herself becomes physically more developed and stronger. After her work with Business Before Pleasure, Morgan would immerse herself in New York's buzzing music scene as a session singer, collaborating with the likes of vocalists such as Luther Vandross, Lisa Fisher, and Whitney Houston. Something I'm really fascinated with is that it's the session and club scene in New York around that time. Because it's like all of y'all singers were in one area. What was that like? Because it's like you, Jocelyn Brown, Lisa Fisher, just all of you guys in one area.
You know what? It seems like we would have been stepping on each other's toes, right? It seems like oh, I gotta get this gig. Oh, she got the gig over there. But it wasn't like that. There was room for everybody for some reason. I don't know how the universe worked that out, but there was room for everyone.
Out of her work during this time period, she scored some more hits such as Feeling Lucky with High Fashion and Keep in Touch, Body to Body. What a difference 4 years makes.
I want to sit on your sweet lips. Please come and hit me to your love. Hey, baby.
Compared to her first recordings, the voice at its center has gained a lot more strength and character.
You do something so good to me when I'm with you. I'm in heaven, baby.
And this is the result of basic physical development and maturity. But it was during her time as a session singer that Meli'sa was moved to learn music on a deeper, more scientific level. You went to Juilliard. So can you tell us a little bit about what you did there?
I went to Juilliard to study music theory. I was singing and doing all these sessions and stuff like that. And I think I got into a session and it was something that they told me to sing, and it was like, why am I singing this and not singing that? And it was like, because this goes. And I was like, but doesn't this go? And no, that doesn't go.
Music theory is the study of intervals, harmonies, and keys, or in layman's terms, what sounds goes best together in melodic music. So that how much has that theory helped you and how you view music now?
I have basically relative perfect pitch. Yeah. So I rarely ever sing a bad note because I know in here. So it registers in here quicker. Like, okay, no, you can't do that. No, gotta do, you know what I'm saying? So I basically, when I go in the studio and I sing all my backgrounds and everything like that, I have relative perfect pitch. Yeah. I studied music theory for like, almost 3 years. And I actually left there because that's when I got the call to sing background behind Shaka Khan. And I said, well, I can stay here and continue to learn, or I can go on the road and learn from my idol, who will become my teacher.
Morgan's career trajectory is akin to many of her contemporaries. You start young in church, you pay your dues singing background and in bands, and then you get your solo deal.
It was singing background with Kashif, going on tour with him. He had signed with Arista, and I had did all his records singing background, and me and Whitney had sang with him and all kind of stuff. And it was singing with him that I got the deal for Capitol Records, because his management, we did something for Gladys Knight on Broadway. We opened for her, and his management was there, and I came backstage and I said, hello. And they said, hello. They said, come in and talk to us, you know? And I came in, they was like, okay, so you've been singing background behind everyone. We know your story. Don't you think it's time for you to do your own thing? And that was Hush Productions. I was like, yeah, I love to do my own thing.
She'd make a big splash with the release of her debut album, Do Me Baby. So you have this long resume of background session work. How You as a singer, how were you able to turn off all of that background singing experience to craft your own sound on for your debut and solo material?
Let me see. Because when you're in a session, you have to blend. So it was important to blend. So I learned that skill. And then after Shaka Khan, because I had idolized her so much, and I had went and I was the one that had the Shaka posters all on the wall, and just singing every affectation, every single note that she sang, the way she sang it. But I think it was some of the gospel experience that helped me with that. I don't know how it happened, but I think Conrad Washington helped me with that, because when I first joined the gospel choir, she gave me a record to sing, and I went and I sang the record, and I came back and I sang it. She played piano, and she went out the room, and she came back in. She says, "You are excellent. I can't wait to work with you. But now we have to pull out Meli'sa, because you sound so much like the record. We have to find where Meli'sa is in it, because you can duplicate, anything." So I'm very good at duplicating, but somehow she taught me how to duplicate but still have my own sound.
When introduced to the public, Morgan has all of the confidence and experience of a seasoned performer, and we hear this on the record. We hear a stronger, more developed voice on Do Me Baby. On songs such as A Heartbreaking Decision and Getting to Know You Better, we hear the Juilliard training at work with its intricate use of vocal harmonies and layering. How involved were you in the production and arranging side of that?
100%. Yeah, all the vocals were, and still to this day, even with Footprints of an Angel, all the vocals are 100% arranged by me. When it comes to like the backgrounds and how everything should go together, I'm like 100% in that. Once you show me like that's what I need to do, it's like, okay, well then if I need to do this, then this needs to be here, that needs to be there. I need to know you.
This album, we are finally seeing Morgan demonstrate a clear use of a head voice. And something you'll notice is that Morgan sings her head voice in a similar fashion to her idol, Shaka Khan. Here is how Shaka generally sings her oo vowel. Does similar things throughout the album. But this is most notable on Fool's Paradise. There are two muscles that control the voice. The TA muscle, which controls the chest voice and low notes, and the CT muscle, which controls high notes. Morgan keeps the CT muscle engaged to really make the ooh vowel sound and fool as clear as possible. Do Me Baby will be a top-selling R&B record, achieving gold status sales. In spite of all of its success, it wasn't enough for the label to push her into wider markets. You guys are among a group of artists. You were among the first by major record labels pushing you guys to try and go pop. Did you ever feel that pressure as well?
We can't go pop. I'm going to clarify that. We cannot go pop. They have to take us pop, but we can't go pop. It takes a great record and crossing it over and taking it pop. And that's what the dilemma is, I think, for R&B singers, is that we're never going to, because they say, oh, we want a pop song. Now we're going to start singing like this because we want to go pop. No. We're always going to sing like this because this is what we do. Now they have to take that and make pop understand that, you know what I'm saying? This is what's going on right now.
As R&B artists, did y'all always have that label support to be taken pop?
No. And that's what happened. R&B is something, that's one thing, but to take R&B and push it pop, that's a whole nother dollar figure. And so if they don't say, we're going to take that we believe in you enough, that now you have a #1 song, that we're going to take that, over here and push it up just as much, it's not going to happen. Do Me Baby was the #1 song on R&B charts and really across the world for 4 weeks, but Capitol did not want to spend that money to take it pop.
I can't accept this and that. I just can't deal. I can make it a girl thing. Check me out, watch my soul, watch my smoke.
But Morgan would still crank out hits on the R&B charts with songs such as If You Can Do It and Love Changes. Yet, her success as an R&B chart topper was still not enough to garner proper label support. So is that sort of what happened with remaining Capitol Records albums?
Well, yeah, and also inner structure. I got signed to Capitol with David Grierson, who believed in Meli'sa Morgan, and he did everything that he could to make Meli'sa Morgan stuff happen. Then he left, and then there was another president, and then he left, and there was another president. So it once the infrastructure of how you got there starts changing, unless you have those numbers and those figures at that time, where they have to do what they need to do. Some of them say, oh, well, she's not as important to me as Hart is, or like I said, MC Hammer or something. So we're going to drop her. Yeah. So by the third record president in Capitol Records, he wanted to drop. He literally calls him, oh, well, we've done all we can do with you, so we're going to let you go. Thankfully, I have a great team and have a great manager, and always have and always will. When he said that, we said, okay, well, if you're going to let me go, you got to pay me, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And I can live off of that for about 5 years. You know what I'm saying? That's how much money it was. And once he realized that, he was like, oh, well, wait a minute. Now I was like, no, wait a minute now. Because now I don't want to be with Capitol with you as the president because you don't believe in me.
On a new label, Morgan would find her way to the top of the charts again. This time with a dance remake of a soul classic. You gave us one of the greatest covers of all time, Still in Love.
Yeah.
A hit that sticks like grits.
Let's not hope it's the grits that was thrown on Al Green.
Oh, I just realized that. The Still in Love record is a testament to how a voice would develop if allowed to follow its natural course. If you don't push the voice, it will naturally get bigger, stronger, and more rangier. And as a singer gains more experience, their interpretive ability of song will improve also. We can see and hear all of these things in supporting performances from this time period, particularly in the reworking of her hit, Do You Still Love Me? When you listen to her sing the opening phrase, you can already tell that the voice is noticeably more powerful. And similar to her contemporaries such as Patti LaBelle, Chaka Khan, or Natalie Cole, Morgan is able to manipulate phrasing to go to the top of the voice. She plays with dynamics or volume by being able to go from loud or forte to piano, quiet in a single phrase. And as I mentioned earlier, clear and distinct register separation comes from development over time. Meli'sa's a woman now, and here we have a clear distinction between a chest voice and a head voice. And for her to be able to make these registration switches on the same pitch is a sign of a well-developed and well-connected voice. She plays with rhythm by utilizing a technique called accenting, which is placing emphasis on a particular word or note in a phrase.
You see, I still love my baby, and I don't know if he still loves me or not.
So in this single phrase, she's established two very different melodic patterns over the main melody. And the absolute best thing is when she takes the music of Do You Still Love Me and transforms it into the melody of yet another one of her hits, Still in Love with You. And you can hear by the audience's reaction that they are impressed. This is musicianship, and this was aided by her training at Juilliard. Having a strong visual memory is helpful in learning music, but being able to see and visualize these things in her head is how she's able to know what musical decisions are best in the moment. So this is an example of what Meli'sa sees in her head when she's doing these kinds of improvisations.
Just leave me alone, 'cause I
While Morgan is in great voice and is still cranking out the hits, she was not safe from the misfortunes of the record industry, and she would soon take matters into her own hands. I think after Pendulum, correct me if I'm wrong, there's like your next album wouldn't come for a little over a decade.
Yeah, I'm that one. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
in that interim of time, you've begun, did you begin managing yourself?
Yes. Because when my dad died, I fired everyone. Yeah, the managers that I had and everything, I fired everyone and just started managing myself because they wasn't doing what I needed. And I'm the type of person, I love singing. I love what I do. And I will go on the road and I will sing it. And I had such a slew of hits that, basically I could go on the road and tour forever if I wanted to. But the one thing that I will not do is go into the studio and sing a song that I don't believe in. If that takes 10 or 20 years, whatever it takes, I will never, ever, ever go into the studio and sing a song that I don't believe in.
Upon managing herself, Morgan has shown that performing is not the only way to make a great living as an artist. We know her as an amazing singer, but she is an accomplished songwriter, having credits on every single one of her records. And she would lend her writing talent to some of R&B and hip-hop's biggest acts.
All these things is what kept me alive, because I wrote on this one, Jay-Z. I wrote on this one, Mary J. Blige. I wrote on this one here, LL Cool J. And people sample my music. And I don't know if people know about the music industry. It could take years before you really, really see money. So I'm really now seeing artist money from Capital. It's the weirdest thing, 20, 30 years later.
Wow.
Seeing, good money, in the tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars. You start seeing it if you do everything right in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So I would tell anyone that's listening, new artists, make sure your paperwork and everything is right in the beginning, because you might not see it in the beginning. You might not see it for 10 years, but 20, 30 years later, when it finally kicks in after you've paid everything back and done what you needed to do, it'll kick in and you'll be smiling like I am.
All these years of hard work would pay off as she's now back on top of the charts with her latest release, Footprints of an Angel.
Footprints of an angel. By my side for the day Footprints of an angel.
People don't even understand when you make that decision to manage yourself, especially as a female, the industry, is kind of like, oh, let's see what she's going to do. She needs somebody else to manage her, until they see things start happening for you. And so this is one of those things that's happening for me, that it's like, oh, you made the right decision after all, huh?
Today, her voice still sounds just as good as when we first heard it. After all these years in the game, how is the voice still intact? Everything is still in the original key. All the notes are there. What have you done?
Well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, and I sleep. Yeah, I sleep. I tell you, I can hibernate like a bear. I can literally sleep for like 2 weeks and not even see anyone. Yeah. So I just taking care of myself. Go to the doctor during the pandemic. I had high blood pressure, so I had to reel it in because we was eating ice cream and shrimp every day. But we had to get back to exercising, take care of ourselves, eat fruit, take out black seed oil and do all the things that we need to do. So we're in much better shape. I just see my doctor and she says I'm doing great. So you just got to take care of yourself.
In addition to healthy living, Meli'sa is a great example of a smart singer. In music, there's a term called tessitura. This refers to the range where a singer sounds their best. And when you lay out Meli'sa's recorded music and performances, you'll see that her general singing range is low G, below middle C, and high G. By keeping all of her singing in this zone and not overextending her instrument, she's been able to preserve its quality. Wrap up is Footprints of an Angel, the sign of something bigger to come.
Yes. Like I told you, it's part of a movie. So the movie will be out in the summer of this year, 2022. And Footprints is the theme song. So when you see the trailer, it's going to be playing all over everywhere. And then we're probably going to be working in the meantime on an EP. I will do an EP because it's on my label. I don't want to do 10, 12 songs. So we will do an EP and release a couple of more singles and then release the EP. And we're excited about that because I'm setting up my own studio. Yes. So we're going to have everything here, my mic and studio. My fiance is going to be working his magic and we're looking forward to it.
All right. So any final words for the viewers before we go?
Oh, thank you. The Footprints of the Angels, the video, which we did. It's up to like almost 25,000 K views. The Vivo one and the one on my channel. So please follow me on YouTube and subscribe and leave a comment. And follow me on all my social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all that good stuff. Is just Meli'sa, Melissamorgan Morgan. There might be a 2 or something behind it, but if you put in Melisamorgan, no 2 L's, no 2 S's, no nothing, one of everything, you'll find me. You'll see this hair. You'll see the picture come up.
Well, all right. So thank you so much, Meli'sa.
Thank you. It's so much fun. Thank you.